Welcome back to Voices in Health and Wellness. This is the show where we speak with the clinicians, founders, and thinkers shaping the future of integrative care. I'm your host, Dr. Andrew Greenland, and today we have Leslie Jones with us, who is a functional medicine practitioner based in Alabama with a distinctive focus on women's pelvic health, an area that is often misunderstood and overlooked in mainstream medicine. So, Leslie, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Can you share a little bit about your journey into functional medicine and what ultimately led you to focus on pelvic health specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. My journey in functional medicine came from my own personal health struggles. In my early 30s, I suffered a really severe case of Lyme disease. And for around 10 years, I just hurt all the time, and it progressively got worse to the point where I needed 2 hip replacements in my early 30s. And every part of my body suffered. My brain, brain fog, constipation, skin issues, eczema, just low energy, severe fatigue, where I would get short of breath just in simple conversation. And all of that led me to Alabama Functional Medicine, where I now get to work. But I was here as a patient, and Dr. Ryan McWhorter helped point me to a direction to get me through a functional medicine pathway that could just give me my life back. And that stirred a desire and a passion to share that with others when I got completely restored from my journey with Lyme disease. And then I get here and I learn all that we can offer in the world of pelvic health. And that is just amazing because it's such a almost forgotten area. There's things that OBs do that are great, but then there's a lot that's missed, and a lot of women are just led to believe that they have to suffer, even from just simple period pain. We're taught as women that this is just normal. It's a normal part of life, and it's not. That is so far from the truth. Cramps are not normal. That is our body signaling us that we are deficient in something. We are missing some key nutrients, and we can essentially eliminate those cramps, and your period should be a surprise. And then from those early years of painful periods to some of the worst and most painful conditions of vulvodynia, which is where women suffer in silence, and some even almost suicidal because this pain is so unbearable. Even just to touch like around the vulva area or the clitoris, it can just be mutilating pain, as we had one describe it. Sex may not even be on the table because of how severe that is. And even if sex is on the table, it's extremely painful. They feel broken. And the traditional world of medicine just has no answers for them. It's so sad and heartbreaking. But we are able to watch women just get their lives back from this kind of pain, and to be restored and to not feel broken anymore. And to see those transformations are one that we have the most passion about, because they're the group of people who just seem to be left without any other solutions. We also work with women in menopausal changes, getting the hormones balanced, working a lot with getting their testosterone right so that then their estrogens can also balance out. So just amazing transformational work that we get to do. And that's become a passion of mine too, as I've seen how we're able to help women get away from these pain and discomfort and just being led to believe that they just have to suffer.
Thank you. It's always very interesting hearing your origin story. And obviously you had a personal health journey that drew you into functional medicine. But was there a defining patient story that sort of took you into this world of pelvic health, or something in the practice? Because I'm not quite sure whether it was something you wanted to do that area, or whether it was just something that your practice were doing that you became interested in.
Yeah, so one of the really defining moments was a patient that Dr. McWhorter had. This was a little bit before my time with the practice, but he had a patient who he sent to all of the traditional ways, just like 14 out of 10 pelvic pain. He sent them to all of these different therapies, like Mayo Clinic, all the big places that you send people. And they all said she needed a hysterectomy. this girl still was young. She wanted to have a family. And so she came in and one day just curled up in a ball, like the fetal position, and just asked him, okay, well, what are we going to do now? And his reaction was like, oh man, I've sent you to all the wees. There's not any more wees left, He's like, but man, I'll research. I'll see what I can find. And so he did. And just like he continues to do for patients now, he went home, he researched, and he found a supplement. He's like, I don't know. He had beginning to learn about vitamin D during this part of his journey and how much help it would. So he's like, hey, we'll try it. So yeah, this girl tried the supplement, and in a month, like 80% of her pain was gone. She didn't have to have a hysterectomy. And I think by maybe 2 or 3 months, it was 100% gone. So that was really a defining moment for him. What else did he not learn in medical school kind of thing, He said, he always tells a story about in medical school, they teach you that 50% of what you're learning is right and 50% is wrong. And you'll spend the next part of your career learning which 50% is which.
I'm sure I had the same thing when I was at medical school as well. It's a common adage.
And so he just dove in after that. And my journey of chronic disease kind of coincided with him transitioning from more traditional medicine into functional medicine. So I kind of got to learn and grow along the way. And now I'm just so excited to be a part of it. It's the best nursing I've ever done.
And so how does your day pan out? What's a typical day for you in the practice in terms of your role? Are you predominantly clinical, or do you have any other roles?
I'm more administrative. I will back up our clinical team, but I'm more kind of the managerial side of things and helping to build and grow our practice. And we've opened a second location this year. So that's been really exciting. So we're just trying to find more ways to reach people. And that's part of my role. And that's what I love the most, is building those new ways to reach people and help people across the country. So I don't know that my day is very typical day to day, but just a lot of different avenues, trying to manage the day-to-day clinic processes, but also trying to reach and grow.
Thank you. In terms of your patient population, we're trying to understand on some of these calls how younger generations are reshaping what they expect from health clinics. What are you noticing from millennial and Gen Z women in your practice?
Yeah, I think the younger generations are really being attracted to functional medicine. They are questioning the mainstream mantra, I guess. They want the root cause. So I think they are really being attractive to what we offer. As with anyone, insurance doesn't, cover a lot of what we offer. So cost is always, a factor that plays in, but they want it, they crave it. And they're really, kind of throwing away the sick care model of the traditional medicine. They're becoming much more open-minded to the functional medicine world, I believe.
Well, it's fantastic to hear. And as somebody who works in functional medicine as well, I'm delighted to hear that. What do you think is working in terms of messaging, that they're picking up these signals and having this interest in a root cause approach and, something a little bit different, which is not the sick care model? What are they consuming that's driving them towards practices like yourself?
Yeah, I think there's a lot in the world of social media now where they see a lot of different people talking about different options. So they're seeing their pain being displayed and somebody saying, hey, we can fix it. So I think social media has a huge emphasis on it. It's part of what we're trying to grow and to build as well. But yeah, go ahead. What are you seeing in your area?
Well, actually, it's there's been a bit of a downturn in functional medicine in the UK, and I actually think the cost of living crisis is actually starting to bite, because it is private medicine. And I've noticed a lot of practitioners in my space in the UK, actually more wider than the UK, are noticing a similar thing. So we're all trying to work out how to reach people, to show them the value of functional medicine and trying to get them back on board. But there's definitely been a bit of a downturn in the last year or so. And I don't think it's because there's no demand, because there's obviously, as you and I both know, there's plenty of people that need our help. but we just need to be able to get to them. And knowing what you just said about social media, how has that influenced the way that your practice structure your communications to get these messages out to this particular generation?
Yes, social media can always be difficult. It requires a lot of continual posting. So it's one of those that we're not great at yet. That we're striving to get there. But trying to reach across the different platforms. But it's still a growth point for us right now.
And in terms of, functional medicine puts a great emphasis on education. Do you find younger patients come in already educated? I presume from what you've just been saying, they probably do, or do they have very specific requests for what they want from you?
When you say specific request versus being educated, tell me more about what you mean.
Do they come in and say, right, this is what I think I have, this is what I want, this is the test I want to have, this is the treatment I need? I mean, I just wonder whether you're getting those kind of patients, who have consumed a lot, they're educated, they're read up, and they present different kind of demands to you as practitioners.
Yes, a little of both, but we do get a lot of patients who come in and they've been like their own biochemists. They've had to dig and study because they've been to so many different places. I mean, they may have been to 7 doctors before they've seen us, and they've had to self-dig and research. And that's one thing that we want to push back and tell them, hey, we got you. We don't want you to have to feel like you have to be your own researcher. But yeah, a lot of them come in, they've been digging and researching themselves. They're like, I think maybe this is what's going on, but they're looking for a guide and a plan and someone to help them step through it. And some come in and say, I don't know what's wrong, but help me. But yes, a lot are really researching themselves before they get here.
What are some of the challenges in doing this kind of work? And perhaps in this particular population of women with, pelvic pain, must present some challenges. What are the things that you face?
Yeah, specifically, I'm going to talk specifically about like the menstrual pain. The biggest challenge is fighting against the belief that cramps are not normal. It's funny, we one time put a post out on Facebook that says cramps aren't normal. And we got a lot of backlash for that. People were like, oh man, are you telling me, there's some doctor telling me that my cramps aren't normal. I've had them all the time. Well, helping people understand that common isn't normal. Like those two don't equate. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. And so just that limiting belief, that can be a real struggle. I feel like the vulvodynia crowd is also, there's a lot of hopelessness there. And there's a lot of Facebook groups where the women are just, there are times when it'll break your heart to read some of what they write. And I think it's, again, just helping pull them out into a place of hope because they have been led to a hopeless place so many times. Like nobody has given them even remotely a solution or help, that they just need hope in something else. But when you've been let down so many times, like putting your hope in one more thing is hard. It's hard.
And speaking of Facebook groups, I presume that sometimes generates sort of myths and misunderstandings. What are the common myths and misunderstandings you have to regularly debunk with your patients?
Yeah, so related to the vulvodynia, especially, one thing we have to work against is that it's not just anxiety. I've had patients who have told us or have been told by their OBs that they're just anxious, they're in pain and sex is uncomfortable because they're just anxious, and so they just need to go get drunk to have sex.
Wow.
And,
really?
It's just, you can't even imagine that would come out of a physician's mouth, but it does. And so helping them realize that it is not anxiety, it is not their problem. They literally have an immune system where they have too many type C-fibre nerve endings in their vulva area, where that just makes the pain like so much more intense, kind of in comparison between from when you like pinch between your shoulder and your elbow, that skin and how painful that is versus pinching your elbow. That extra painful skin between your shoulder and your elbow on the backside of your arm is much more painful. It's like those type of fibers that they have 10 times more nerve endings there that just kind of light you up. But when we get the immune system regulated and we use some of our many modalities, we can totally change that and get them to a place where sex is not only possible, but comfortable and amazing, and they get to experience how it's really designed. But yeah, we have to overcome those obstacles of it's you or internal. And
thank you. I mean, do you also find younger women are more open to talking about pelvic health issues as compared to older generations?
It is becoming better. I know, like, it used to be very hush hush, like, almost taboo to talk about those things, and it still is to some extent with some. But I do think it's getting better. We're seeing a directional shift, and I think that Facebook groups help them. Like they'll talk in those areas of Facebook groups that are specifically for them, or they know other people are like them. They'll be open. But there are still many who suffer in silence because they think they're the only ones hurting. So if they're not attached to another group, many of these people, like that one patient who was told to just go get wasted by her OB, she's never told her mother to this day. She's never told really, up until she had some of the treatment. She started talking a little bit more after some of the treatments with us. But up until that, she maybe a best friend knew a little bit, but otherwise she kept that silent because she felt so broken because of that. And that's just a heartbreaking story to hear. So yeah, there's still a lot of shame around it. But I feel like we are moving in a better direction, and we hope that the more awareness that we can get out there that, hey, this condition exists. You may have a friend, like, let's open up about it. Let's talk about it and let's fix it.
Great. Yeah. And what are some of the things that are working particularly well for you and your colleagues in the practice right now, whether it's clinical, operational, or admin side of things?
Yeah, so we like to be on the cutting edge in the technology world. And so we use a lot of, from a clinical side, we use a lot of laser therapy, ozone therapy. We love a therapy called IASIS, a microcurrent neurofeedback therapy, which helps get patients out of fight or flight. So we love incorporating those technologies. We refer to them as electroceuticals. And Dr. McWhorter often tells the story of his progression in functional medicine. He started out, in pharmaceuticals and traditional medicine, and then he learned about nutraceuticals, so the supplements and how they can help change the body. And then he started learning about electroceuticals. And that's where we see the biggest shifts and the fastest shifts is when we change, when we work with the body from the standpoint of changing the energy, of using good energy to make shifts in the cellular level. That's where we get the most impact. So that's where we see the greatest impact clinically, when our patients will dive in and really utilize those therapies, anything from IV therapies to some of those other lasers or ozone therapy, microcurrent neurofeedback therapy. Any of those help make those big shifts where we see truly transformational healing in a short of time. Sometimes supplements can work great for some people and work really quickly, but when they've been suffering for a long time, adding in those electroceuticals really helps shorten the timeline to healing.
Amazing. And what are some of the biggest time drains for you and your colleagues in the practice?
The biggest time drains are sometimes at education point. So while some come in knowing a lot and they've researched, there's still so much to educate them about how much, not just diet and lifestyle, but how much, this equipment and the supplements, how much all of those things play into their lives and how they can change and how you have to dig into I mean, from all the patients that you work with, how long it takes to really dig down to get to that root cause. And our consults, scheduled for an hour typically turn into like 2 hours because there's so much to uncover to really get to the root cause. So that can be a drain where if you can't see and help as many patients because of the time that it takes, time is our biggest resource. So that's always a challenge. And how can we shorten it? Both for us from a clinical standpoint, but also for the patient. A lot of times that first visit is very overwhelming because it's so much information at one time. So one thing that, we're trying to work through is how can we make that into more bite-sized portions, give them like small bites that they can implement now. And then, in the next visit, we'll add a few more. But while at the same time making them feel like we have a plan for the whole journey and helping, convince them that this can really make a difference for them.
Thank you. And are you and and Dr. McWhirter planning to grow and scale the practice? And if so, how are you sort of planning to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to keep growing. And one of the major ways that we want to grow is through our what we call our Seluxis Essentials supplement line. One of our passions is just to help people across the globe. From the people, not everyone can come see us here in Alabama in our clinic. And so for those that can't, we want them to have a great resource where they can come and find the help they need without having to dig so much. So we've launched our Shopify supplement store so that we can have like curated supplements. And we're also in the process of developing some of our own self-developed supplements as well. So that they can have a place where they know this is trusted quality products, trusted information, and they can go there, specifically for women. They're the buyers of their household. They go there to fix themselves and to fix all of their family. Like we know who the people are in charge of everyone's health. And so we just want them to have like a place where they can go and feel safe and feel comfortable about the information that they're giving. So we are constantly working to grow our product line and to grow the awareness of that store so that more people can get the menstrual relief they need, can get natural weight loss, and just all of even the foundational health, supplements that are just great for everybody because we're all deficient in a lot of some of the basic things like vitamin D, omegas, magnesium. So that's one of our biggest concentration areas that we want to grow is to just expand the reach of our supplement store.
That sounds fantastic. Have you also considered experimenting with group programs or online education or digital tools to support patients? Is that something that you and your team have thought about?
Yeah, we have definitely thought about some online courses and would love to include that in the future. Another way that is kind of hopefully on the horizon that maybe in the next year or so is to start networking with other nurses or health coaches who just need like a mentorship program who can kind of work alongside some of our providers as they're working with their own clients, like either health coaches or RNs who have their own business working with their own health, with their own clients who then just need someone to bounce ideas off of and to continuously learn from. So that's one way that we're hoping to kind of expand our reach and expand our ability to influence and help people, hopefully in the coming year.
Thank you. Are there any parts of the practice that you and your colleagues have deliberately chosen not to grow and scale, and what will be behind that?
I wouldn't say that we've deliberately chosen not to grow and scale yet. We don't really focus on men's health a lot. We take them, we help them when they come, but it's often the women come in, we get them better, and then they bring their husbands in because they can't keep up anymore from a sexual health standpoint. And so we don't really, target men in our audience very much, but we still, take care of them. Pediatrics has been another area where we're not growing quite yet. but it may be something, in the future where we'd love to be able to, to have someone under our umbrella to be able to help take care of those children who are looking for, the parents who want their children to be in functional medicine from the cradle, like they want, they want that approach from the beginning. And so we hope to be able, to offer that at some point, but it's not one of our focus areas more immediately.
Thank you. I mean, do you think functional medicine is becoming more accepted by conventional providers, or is there still a wide gap here, in your opinion?
Ooh, I think a lot have adopted vitamin D. I hear a lot more from friends and family members and things that they're checking vitamin D, at least that's at least becoming important. And we didn't see that before, 10, 20 years ago. But I still think that there's a big gap. I do hear a little bit, especially even after COVID. I think the supplement side of it, some of the few basic supplements, vitamin D, magnesium, even they're starting to gain some traction. But I still feel like there's a pretty big gap. How about you? I'm curious to what you're seeing as well.
I think it's still very much a separate entity. I think it's still regarded as very niche. I don't think a lot of conventional providers really understand what functional medicine even is. I don't think functional medicine is necessarily a very good label for the work that we do, because as soon as you say functional medicine to somebody who's never heard it before, they say, well, what's that? Is it dealing with functional disorders? These are some of the questions you get. So I sometimes badge it as integrative medicine, because it kind of then people can kind of work that out, that probably bridges the gap between conventional medicine and perhaps something a little bit more alternative. Yeah. But yes, I do get funny looks, and I don't think there's a real understanding. That's my kind of take on it.
Yeah, I agree.
And on that note, is there anything that you wish more GPs or OBGYNs understood about the kind of work that you're doing?
Yeah. They understood that we're a source for them, a referral source. When they get stuck, they have to see so many patients, and so they're so busy, and they don't even, because of the insurance model, doesn't even allow them time to go and dig deeper for things. I just want them to know that we're a source for them. If they have a patient that is stuck, we might have some tricks that can help, or some resources, and we do have a few. OBs and GYNs who will refer to us for pelvic floor therapies for bladder leaks and things, for non-surgical options. So we get a little bit here and there from some, but I wish they would just know that we'd love to, kind of partner with them and just be a referral resource, so that, if they're stuck, we want to have their back.
On that note, Leslie, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's been such an interesting conversation. As a fellow functional medicine practitioner, really interested in hearing about your work and your specialization in pelvic health. Really, really fascinating. I'm sure it'll be a very well received conversation. I'm sure we're going to get lots of people tuning in. But thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been great.